Good evening. Welcome to the John Gaunt podcast. Tonight, do you accept Keir Starmer's apology? Do you even think it was an apology? What else should he apologise for? He's clinging on like a shell at Padstow Harbour, but the tide is coming in. Oh, that's a bit poetic, isn't it? This is the John Gaunt podcast. I need your views. I say that apology wasn't enough. What do you say? Let's have your opinion in the box. Just write up what you think. I say, sorry, that was too little, too late. The Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, has said the word apology, I think 5 times. He said he was sorry. But I don't think the country's going to buy it. This is the moment his authority has totally collapsed. I couldn't believe he was going ahead with the speech today. I just thought, you absolute idiot. You need to lie low for a day or two. Maybe not as low as Mandelson. So I'm not going to be polite tonight. There's a surprise. I'm asking what millions of frustrated voters are probably shouting at their television and mobile screens. Can Starmer survive this? Or is he now finished? Is it just a matter of days? MPs are demanding information. Is saying sorry just political damage control? Or can you not control the damage? That it's his decision. He was apologising for Mandelson deceiving him and us. He was almost playing the victim. You're not the victim, Starmer. It's the girls and perhaps boys who've been getting sexually assaulted. It's the British taxpayers whose money was being conned out of them by Mandelson. That's who you should be apologising to. And Mandelson, well, he's gone. But now you must go too. If he had any guts, if he had a backbone, he would have resigned by now. But then if he does go, let's move on to the next question. Who takes over the Labour Party and therefore becomes Prime Minister? The rumour going round is that it's going to be Lammy. David Lammy. I'm sorry to laugh. But is this the end of Starmer's premiership? He looked like a frightened rabbit caught in the headlights today. I don't know if you've seen the press conference. He looked ridiculous. And he basically said, oh, it wasn't my fault. It was the spooks. They didn't give me the right information. I didn't know Mandelson was a bad un. That's a bit like the BBC. Oh, no, I never realised Jimmy Savile was a nonce, even though all the staff talked about it all the time. You knew Mandelson was still seeing Epstein after he'd been to prison and convicted of paedophilia. Why are you still lying, Starmer? And his whole speech was about rebuilding trust and building communities. The only community we want you in, well, Mandelson, we want him in a prison. And I think you're getting close to one too, Keir Starmer. Because the question is this: what else should he be apologising for? He kept saying, I'm sorry for. Well, why don't we start saying, I'm sorry for us not having any borders anymore, Keir Starmer? How about I'm sorry for all the sexual and violent assaults that the flip-flop warriors are imposing on our girls in this green and pleasant land? One today, he got in the back of a lorry, just been sent down for 7.5 years for assaulting a 12-year-old girl who was brave enough to waive her anonymity. But if this is madness, we don't need to import criminals, do we? What about apologising for the 15 U-turns, Keir Starmer's? Because we don't know, Keir Starmer, we don't know what you stand for. And what about crime and community safety? You make a speech today about communities and building this great country. You've wrecked the country. You have absolutely wrecked it. Are these fair questions? Or am I being over the top? Tell me now. This is going to be raw. It's going to be live. It's going to be uncensored debate. And you can join in. All you've got to do is click in the comment box and have your say. One simple question I'm asking on my pinned note today is this. Do you accept the apology? Yes or no? Just write yes or no in the box. Should he resign if the pressure keeps growing, which it's going to? He'll be gone. But who replaces him? Put a name in the box. Lammy, the ginger growler, whatever you want to do. Or give me a strong view of what you think of the state of our great country. The adults were meant to be back in the room. In 18 months, they've wrecked the effing place. Do you agree with me? Let me know now. Get telling me in the comment box. If you're liking what I'm talking about, press the like button. That's beginning to tick over. And of course, spread the word. Just send the link out everywhere. So good evening, Britain. The Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, has said sorry. Because sorry is the hardest word. But the real question is this. Does anyone in Britain believe him? And can he actually survive what's coming next? Because there's going to be a tsunami of allegations. I don't know about you, but I know how it works. It'll be the same as newspapers. You catch a footballer shagging somebody he shouldn't. You release a bit of information, a Chelsea footballer, but you don't say who it is. A couple of days later, if that hasn't smoked them out, you say who it is. Day later, you get the girl to give her side of the story. It just builds and builds and builds until you get the story. It's not pleasant. It's the way it works. And the same thing is happening now with this report or the Epstein tapes, whatever you want to call them. More is going to come. There was a lot more shit about to hit the fan. Starmer, go now, you miserable wretch. Give this country a chance to flourish again. Because this isn't just about one apology. People are asking if this is about trust, faith in politics, leadership, border control, the U-turn after U-turn. We've had 15 already this last 18 months. And real fears about safety in our communities. I mentioned the girl, 7.5 years he's just got. That's not long enough for what he did. What about the 2 Afghans who are on trial in Nuneaton? We can't really talk about that at the moment. Or the lady in Walsall who got stabbed 19 times in the head, and Keir Starmer hasn't even bothered to contact her. Leadership, he couldn't spell it, let alone be a leader. Meanwhile, he keeps calling us far right. In his speech today, he was attacking reform, and he was saying, don't go for the politics of hate. I don't see any politics of hate in reform. Oh, you mean they're far right, do you, Starmer? You mean it's like Lucy Connolly, let's lock her up for 31 months. That's the world he wants to live in, where everybody pretends they're being kind, but actually it's a dictatorship. So I would like your views on this tonight. I say Starmer's apology is not worth a penny. I say it's too little too late. What do you say? Let's have your opinion. Oh, blimey, I can't believe that. We've got a donation. We haven't even asked for one yet. Emma Bauer. All right, Emma, sweetheart. I hope you're getting better. She says, have a drink on me. Thank you, Emma. And she's donated a $5 on YouTube. She's clicked the $sign. Find the $sign, click on it, and send me some cash if you can to keep these podcasts going. Also to pay my bail when I go to prison, when the stormtroopers kick my door down. Although I think it's getting to a stage now where no one's going to do anything for Starmer. I really do. Your views, please. I say the apologies not enough. What do you say? And are you worried about who's going to replace him? So don't forget, that's the one question, just one word answers for that. If you fancy, do you accept the apology? Yes or no? I'm in the no camp. Should he resign? I'm in the yes camp. And who's going to replace him? I'm almost getting to the stage now where I don't just want a replacement, I want a general election. They have failed. Do you agree? Let's get going. Adrian has commented. Let's see what he has to say. Adrian, Union flag, reclaiming the flag from racists. Then he's got the red rose. I suppose he's a Labour supporter. He says, yes, bye. What does that mean, Adrian? I mean, sod all, you thick lefty. Too little, too late, says Linda Waters. Thank you, my friend. Cornered rat, anyone, says Leanne Tail. Yeah, he did look like a rat, didn't he? He didn't know what to say. He didn't know how to do it. Do you know why? Because he's not authentic. People are saying, oh, he's made a mistake. Some people who support him, oh, he's just made a mistake. Let's get on, move on from this. No, because he was willing. Let's look at the facts. He knew Mandelson was still seeing Epstein. So he was comfortable with a certain amount of paedophilia. Like I said yesterday, is that a bit of upskirting? Just a bit of a fumble? All of these things are foul, by the way. I don't agree with any of them. What is it, Keir Starmer? What is it you agree with? That you give one of the highest offices of state to somebody who's best mates with a pedo? And you know what the worry is here? One of those things that I think is going to come in the tsunami are allegations against Mandelson himself. I don't know for sure, but it's very odd the way they're obviously holding stuff back. But Keir Starmer has been a failure on every single level. And then he says he's sorry. Is he sorry for the hundreds of thousands of flip-flop warriors who are getting in at Dover? Is he sorry for the girls who've been sexually assaulted or even worse, raped or murdered? Is he? Is he sorry for that? Is he sorry for calling people after Southport far right? And again today, attacking reform. You're in power, you Burke. Sort it out. Let's take some more people. Starmer needs to go and we need a new election. Well, yesterday I was just saying let's replace him because that's what will happen. They won't ask for an election because that'll mean all those lick-spittle MPs will lose their jobs because no one's going to vote Labour. So they're not going to be turkeys voting for Christmas. But maybe that is what we need, a total clear-out. Problem is, I watched that programme about reform last night when Nigel Farage said, well, we're not ready for government. So we are in our right state. Starmer came to power saying, I promise you change. The adults are back in the room, and he's failed. And because of his failure, we're going to be paying for that for years. And this is going on to the Mandelson thing. Forget about the paedophilia for a moment. He was giving away state secrets. Whilst you were struggling to pay your mortgage 10 or 15 years ago, he was telling Epstein how to make a load of money on the markets. He's a traitor. And I feel as if Starmer's rubbing up against that as well. Your views, please. Let's move on. Kev Baxter, yes, go. Annette Locke, apology rejected. I like that. Computer says no. What we got next? ZXR Alien Warrior. No, he should be fired. Who fires him? The only people who can fire him are the general public in an election. No one can fire him, although the backbenchers are now revolted. He did that apology today, and it was kind of made it worse because he still didn't take responsibility. I can't bear the bloke. I don't know about you. Kev Baxter, a mess. It most certainly is. Thank you, my friend. Or Richard Pope says corruption and big lies from Starmer. He looked scared stiff, John, and uncomfortable in the press conference. Yes, he did. You could hear his bum cheeks clanging from Coventry. And yet he still tries to wriggle out of it. He doesn't take any personal responsibility, does he? He should do the decent approach and resign. Anyone else would be finished by now. Can't argue with you. Exactly right. Julian, SM5QV, has just sent £10 on YouTube on a super sticker. Julian, thank you for that. I'll mention you again later in the show as well. But if you'd like to contribute, that's all you do. You press the little dollar sign next to the comment box and donate a couple of quid, 5 quid, 10 quid, 100 quid, whatever you can afford. And it makes these podcasts keep going. Because I'm telling you now, there is more and more need for independent voices and independent writing. Did you see the lick spit on media? Have you seen that picture of Emily Maitlis doing up, not Starmer, doing up the, what do you call them? Dicky Bow, pardon, of Mandelson. Did you hear Beth Rigby's, in fact, Rigby would make better questions, Rigsby, I'm sorry, of Keir Starmer. She's so far up his backside, she could clean his teeth from inside his mouth. Because a load of these people, including the fat slug Adam Bolton, sue me if you want, Adam. Adam Bolton, who used to be on Sly News, he can't believe this has happened. John Sopel's the same, because they're all in bed with each other. And you know, I've been saying this for ages, that the relationship between the press, the proper press, and a politician should be that of a dog and a lamppost, the press being the lamppost, right? Excuse me. I noticed today in certain columns, in certain papers, even on the telly, people are using the same expression, not the dog and the lamppost, but basically saying, oh, maybe we've all got too close. Too close? Yeah, shagging each other, metaphorically and literally. Adam Bolton, he left his wife and ended up shacking up with a woman called, I think it's Ali Hunter or Angie Hunter, I can't remember her name, who used to work for Blair. She was his gatekeeper, not in the garden, but in politics. Same thing with Wes. You know Wes Streeting? Wes Streeting's husband, right? He's gay, he's married. He works for Mandelson. It's all like this. And they're all implicated, let me tell you. And they don't give an SH1T about you. Richard, thank you for your comments. On YouTube, Lena Tail says, David the Brain Lammy or Angela Guilty or Very Guilty or Raina. Well, at least Angela would know what the fiddles are, wouldn't she? On the old stamp duty. I'm not in the Angela Raina is thick camp, by the way. I was talking about this today. Who was it with? Oh, my mother-in-law, probably. You got to admire a woman like her. She's pulled herself up by her bootstraps. My friend Rosemary. She's pulled herself up by her bootstraps. But whether she could be the Prime Minister, I don't know. But she can't be any worse than Starmer. Because at least Angela Rayner stands for something. He doesn't stand for anything. He's like a damp poppadom. You know when you go for the Indian, and sometimes they're too crispy, sometimes they're a bit stale, sometimes they're perfect, but sometimes they put a bit too much ghee or G or whatever it is in. And so they're kind of very malleable. It's like eating a piece of plasticine, right? That's Starmer. If Starmer was an Indian meal, it'd be a soggy poppadom. At least Angela Rayner would have a bit of bite about her. Sorry. No, I don't mean it like that. Let's move on quickly. God help us. God help us. What will they replace him with? Well, that's interesting you say that, Alien Warrior, because some people have been saying to me today, don't keep calling for Starmer to go because what we get next might be worse. Well, it might be, but it might be better. If we had an election, it certainly would be better. I'd have Nigel Farage in number 10 tomorrow. I don't care if he's ready or not. He can't make much more of a cock-up of it than Starmer and his mob. I see the odds-on favourite is Miliband, isn't it? Ed, the windmill man. Huh? Windy Miller. They reckon he might become the Prime Minister and the leader. We've rejected him once, but he's back. I don't know whether he's going to be bringing Snorbits with him. He didn't half remind me of Mike and Bernie Winters. Bernie Winters, yeah? The dog would have more fucking chance of doing a good job than him, but they reckon it could be him. Sorry, too late, says UK video clips. I don't know what that means. Kev Baxter, they all needed to go. Plus, I've heard his name is on the list. What list is that, Kev? You don't think, they're going to have some muck on him? Wouldn't that be brilliant? if suddenly it turns out that Keir Starmer's been to Epstein Island. How long is it going to be before Blue Peter, it's not on the telly anymore, just go with me though on the image, they decide to make a replica with toilet rolls and coat hangers of Epstein Island? You can see it happening, can't you? You can. Den Spinks, no, I do not accept his apology. And there's no one in his party fit to lead, John. We need a general election now. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, I've just got what other people are saying. Sorry, too late. Video clips. He means sorry, too late. It's too little, too late. He should have said it weeks ago. Yes, I agree. He will fight tooth and nail to keep this in the confines of what has come and gag the rest. Well, that's an interesting point. Who's that? Annette Locke. Annette's one of my best contributors. Annette, thank you. And you're bang on the money. I was listening to Martin Daubney on GB News earlier. The committee that is now going to look at what can be redacted and not redacted. You know, there was this big row about it yesterday. What bits are going to have tape over it, yeah? They're now saying they can't report back for weeks and weeks. Daubney was going mental. And he's correct too. It's the latest stitch-up. Oh, yeah, we're going to have full disclosure. This was yesterday, wasn't it? Full disclosure, but not if it's a state secret, not if it's a foreign power. So anything that involves anyone from any other country, we won't talk about. And there was some other thing as well. And the MPs rightly said, no, Keir, up yours. Jump off the pier, Keir. That's not right. So now he said, OK, independent committee can look at it. But now they're saying they can't report back for weeks. It's outrageous. They're stitching you and me up again. And then you wonder, why didn't they sort out the rape gangs? Why did he have to be dragged screaming to have a full judge-led public inquiry? Well, add it up yourself. 2 and 2 always makes 4 in situations like this. That's all. I'm just pausing so you can think about that. I think it's an absolute disgrace. You with me or against me? By the way, if you want to donate, please press the donate button, which is the $sign if you're on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, you can just do it simply by clicking on www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. Somebody's just joined as a member of my YouTube, so that's very good. Sam Morgan, thank you, Sam. Peanuts to join if you want to become a member. Just go to YouTube and it will show you how to do it. I'm only saying that because I don't know. Kev Baxter, 14 likes. That's good. Loads of people watching as well. Kev Baxter, and he doesn't say anything. That was a waste, wasn't it, Kev? Hell, no. He's nothing but a liar and a traitor with British blood on his hands, says Andy Moat. Yeah, I thought it was a bit of a barefaced cheek for him to turn around and say, Mandelson lied to me. His whole defence is, I'm as thick as shit, right? I'm as thick as... That's Starmer's defence. I didn't realise. I asked Mandelson. Mandelson said, no, I don't really know him. And Starmer accepted that. What? Everybody knew that Epstein and him were very close. It's just a bloody farce. Hell no, he's nothing but a lie. I've just read that one. Bill Greathead says, did Mandelson know if Trump had links with Epstein? And Starmer hoped he could use this info to cajole Trump to be pro-UK. Conspiracy theory or not? Well, I'm not going to just dismiss that. However, I think Trump was playing a game with him as well. I think Trump knew what Mandelson was. And he knew he could use that Trump card whenever he fancied. The bottom line is, a man who's been sacked from the government 2 or 3 times, I've forgotten, but who has got a link with the biggest nonce in the world, you don't give him a job. You certainly don't make him the ambassador of the United States of America, do you? That's just common sense. Even self-preservation, you wouldn't do that. But that's what we're meant to believe. Ludicrous. Thank you for your comments. Sue Hardwick, he is going to get away with it. Unfortunately, I think you might be right. He's an actual disgrace. I was really upbeat this morning, really thought he was gone. Yeah, I thought that when they said he's doing a press conference. Then I read the small print and realised, no, he was just going to have another go at Nigel Farage and normal Brits. He's in it up to his neck with the nonce files for sure. Look how he covered up for Savile. Thank you very much for your comments. Let's go to Kev Baxter. He's on the next drop-off, the next 3 million revelations. I don't know about that, but it's odd, isn't it? I hope he is. Well, I hope Mandelson is. I hope there's more shit about them both. I really do. Who would you like to be? If it had to be a Labour person, who would you want? That bunch. Lammy. Be a laugh, wouldn't it, to have Lammy? Huh? David Lammy, Prime Minister. He had to explain to somebody on the door. He was out canvassing. He said, yeah, I'm the Deputy Prime Minister. The guy says, I don't know who the fuck you are, mate. Clear off. I'm having my tea. Have a drink on me, says Emma. Emma, thank you very much indeed. She's donated £5 on YouTube. So you could do that as well. Just click that $. If truth and decency make you far right, I'm going to wear that tag proudly, says Annette Locke. Thank you. Yeah, anybody who believes in basic morals, basic decency, basic, bring your kids up properly, give them breakfast, feed them, encourage them to read, encourage them to stretch their imagination, encourage them to go to school. You do any of that? I can't know. I nearly did the signal. I mustn't do that. You're far right. Absolute bullshit. And today in his apology speech, he said, oh, I'm working class. Yeah, that'll be right. That's why your dad owned a factory. I don't mind you being middle class. I feel sorry for you if you're middle class. But don't pretend that you're working class, Starmer. What? No, get him gone, says Alan Shepherd. Thank you, Alan. Betty Davy Mullings. No, he's only trying to save himself, John. Where is it now? Hold on. Betty Davy Mullings. He knew all about Mandelson from the beginning. Well, of course he did. I'm not having a go at you, Betty. Of course he did. It's just bullshit, isn't it? Just absolutely bullshit. And he thinks we're going to swallow it. He must be good at getting people... Oh, stop it. Starmer's biggest mistake was believing his own bullshit. Exactly. Pete Dawson, he can stick his sorry and he can stick it up his arse. Oh, dear, Pete. You're not hanging back, are you, with your views? Starmer no longer calling Mandelson our Peter. Yeah, that's what he said in that speech, wasn't it? Oh, some people say he's evil. Some people say he's good. But we just says, oh... He's our Peter. See, these things come back to haunt you, Starmer. Huh? Is it true Jimmy Savile never came across your desk? The only desk he didn't come across by the sound of it, but there we are. Terrible apology. And then proceeds to call people racist, says Simon G, 5429. And then he announces a sudden spend to benefit working people. He's just a compulsive liar. He must have been let up late, dreaming this up. Traitor. I think he's a traitor. I do. I'm with you on that. Kev Baxter, there are going to be vote out of no confidence. No, there's going to be a vote of no confidence. That's what they're calling for, some backbench MPs. We're a million miles away from that happening yet, unless something's happened in the last 20 minutes. These things take time. Starmer holding his shaking hands at the dispatch box. That was gold, says UK video clips. It was, wasn't it? He was bricking himself. New underpants for the Prime Minister. New underpants for the Prime Minister. Useless. Absolutely useless. Kev Baxter says he's gone. Well, he hasn't, but you want him to, I understand. Just fucking resign, says Sue. Excuse my language, but I'm quoting Sue. Sue L. 7610. I think that's the comment of the night. Just fucking resign. I think we all feel a bit like that, don't we? Right, let's get your views on it. This question has just dug a deeper hole with this faux apology. Absolutely. It wasn't an apology. He thinks he's brilliant. He does. If he was made of chocolate, he'd eat himself, starting with his head. And what have you seen this new haircut with all the wax on it? What's that about? Who was that bloke on the telly on Channel 4? Max Headroom. Do you remember him? He was like an animated character. That's what he looks like. The guy invented the word div, didn't he? Let's move on. Instead of Starmer's keep condemning and criticising Farage, he should get on with the job of running the bloody country for our British people, especially those who unfortunately voted for him. Grow up, Starm. Very good. You can stick your sorry up your arse, says Paul Robot. Some people are very upset tonight. Excuse me, I've still got my cold. Keep the pressure on, Starmer, 24/7. Well, that's what we've got to do. We've got to make his life so uncomfortable that he wants to go. He's got to go. And okay, then we'll go through a succession of useless leaders, ending up with a lettuce, like Liz Truss, and then we can maybe get somebody who can run the country. Maybe then there's I'll tell you what we need now. Ooh, a general election. Nigel Farage walks in. Yeah. That's my view. Julian AMSQV donated £10. I mentioned him earlier, but it's just come up on the list now as well. Thank you very much. If you'd like to donate to keep these podcasts going, please do so. Simple to do. You just click, if you're on YouTube, click the little $sign and send as much or as little as you can. Or go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt and donate anything from $5 upwards. But one way you can really help me, if you've not yet subscribed to John Gaunt TV, do it now. Do it now on YouTube. When you go there the first time to John Gaunt TV, all one word, a little pop-up comes up and it says, would you like to subscribe? Don't panic. It doesn't mean any money. It just means yes. And you just say yes. Just click yes. Then you'll get notified every time I'm doing one, a podcast that is, and also you'll get access to the, what do you call it, the archive. Sounds posh, doesn't it? He's only sorry now. He didn't really think those Epstein files would appear. Wrong. Just watching his insincerity today made me feel sick, says Maggie Morley. Me too, Maggie. And the MSM are still not talking about the fifth rent boy, the firebug arrest. Well, UK video clips, there's a reason for that. This is the legal reason. They're not talking about any of the Ukrainians who are allegedly set fire to some of his property, a car and his old houses and stuff. That's because it's sub judice, so we can't talk about it. That's the law. But they're back in court very, very soon, right? We can report then they're in court, but you can't just say they're guilty. I'm just telling you what the law is, and it's the same here on YouTube. So be careful with that, everyone, because he wants to lock everybody up. So just be sensible. Steve MOT, evening, John. For me, Andy Burnham would have been my choice if they'd allowed him to stand. Yeah, you got to feel sorry for Andy Burnham. I bet he's crying, isn't he, into his muesli. They wouldn't even let him get anywhere near standing. Although I don't think it'd be any good at it either. Sorry, he ain't cutting it anymore, says Maggie Morley. Did he ever cut it? Excuse me. I don't want Starmer getting anything out, and await your punishment, and I wish it'll be harsh. When's this cold going to go? We've got an apprentice running the country, says Steve Harris. No, one of those idiots on that program would be better than this idiot, let me tell you. Let's move on. Jackie Ward, there she is. The damage that is being done in this country is incalculable. The sooner we get rid of politicians running the country and get a businessman to run it, the better. I don't suppose it will happen because the pull of the woo gravy train is just too strong. Sorry, John. Angela Rayner stands up for Angela Rayner. Well, I'd have to agree with that, Lena. Somebody else then says, Caesar says, Rayner is a fraudster. Well, she got done for fiddling the old stamp duty, didn't she? Hey, John, and all. Clean Politics 2026. What did you think of what Thornberry said? Was she making excuses for Mandelson's hire? Probably. She's just a big fat hypocrite. who got a damehood because he didn't want her in the cabinet, right? So she got moved to the House of Lords. I'll never forget that snobby cow for when she said, "Oh, look at this in my constituency. People have got the flag of St. George up." Do you remember during the Euro Championships? And there was a massive backlash against her. She's just a snob, a left-wing Labour snob. Let's move on. Fraser Ford, I hear David Lammy is going to be swapping with him, and he's the worst liar. And he talks so much shit, says Fraser. Yeah, there is talk that he's being trained to become the Prime Minister. I know. Oh, Lord. No, not Miliband. He's a stuffed dummy. There on the stair, right there. What's that song? It's about a windmill, isn't it? In old Amsterdam. How's that go? In old Amsterdam. He loves those windmills, he does. Oh, we got another donation. What's going on? ZenXR Alien Warrior. If his own cabinet doesn't get rid of him, then Mandy will leak some dirt on him, will. Or the May elections will. Or perhaps the rent boys will do it. Maybe. Do you want to wait that long? I want him gone now. I wanted him gone yesterday. That's the worry. It'll just be another Fabian society member, same strings, different puppet, says Jeanette Late. I've got to kind of apologise for that in a way. Agree with that. I would not accept one excuse from a Labour traitor. Thank you very much indeed. Where are we going next? Sam Morgan has just become a YouTube member of the John Gaunt page. It's peanuts. It's something like 99p or 2.99 or something like that. And you can become a super fan. Why don't you do that? That's another little way you can contribute to Gaunty and to keep these things going. Dan Spinks, I want to hear Cammy say to Starmer what Starmer said several times to Boris. Resign, Starmer. Absolutely. He's got to go. He knows what's coming with his colleagues and he's panicking. He owes the country dozens of apologies for what he's done. No, I do not accept his apology. End of story, says Andrew. Well, that's like what I've been saying. Where would he start apologising? And it would take him till Christmas, wouldn't it? Winter fuel allowance, putting all those old people through that. Students, letting them down. Farmers, letting them down. Who else did he change? There's hundreds of them. Moving out our brave soldiers out of barracks so you can put the flip-flop boys in there. Allowing the flip-flop boys to land at Dover and rape our women. So you can't say that's not true. It hasn't happened. It has. And he doesn't even know who they are. How have we ended up with this cretin? Denise Deacon. Starmer knew full well about Mandelson. He thought it didn't matter because he has contempt for us plebs. They really do think we're stupid. Denise, you're bang on the money. Bang on the money. And this is why I'm saying supporting. It's another plug for money, I know, but supporting people like me and other independent broadcasters and writers, it's so important. Because you've got to look at those pictures. Emily Maitlis, John Sopel, Beth of Sly News, Adam Bolton. All of those slime bags. I mean, we know what James O'Brien was like. But they're all in bed with people like Starmer. They don't represent your views. They don't like your views. I've told you this many, many times. TV programs are organised to make you look stupid. And when Zia Yusuf said that, everyone went mad. Oh, I don't want to be friendly before this show. I just want to sit there, think about my thoughts, and then do the show. And I don't want to socialise with the enemy. Everyone, all the middle classes have had a go at him. All the journos. What's Miranda going to do? Oh, she's off to uni. Oh, what does she want to go into? Journalism. I'd respect little Miranda a little bit more if she said, I want to be a whore. Because that's what they are. The mainstream media are whores. Got a pen? And I'm available to write any old crap. It's true. There aren't many people who are genuinely saying what they believe. I'm telling you, that's the truth. One day I'm going to start naming the people I was on programs with who said, "Oh, what side are you taking?" So I said, "Well, side that I believe in." And they go, "Oh, well, then I'll do the opposite." Selling their soul for 150 quid on the Jeremy Wine show. Notice he hasn't offered me an opportunity recently. Never mind. I hate Starmer more than anyone, but imagine the alternative. Net Zero Miliband. Lammy. R. Angela. Boris was fired for eating cake at a party. How's he getting away with all this? Don't ask me, K-Man, but I'm with you. Terry Wheatley, one of my biggest supporters. He often chucks a fiver in. Thank you, Terry. God help us if Angela Rayner is a replacement leader. Benefits would be out of control and the economy would suffer. No, it would collapse, my friend. But thank you. We're not talking about pieces of cake here that brought Boris down. We're talking about Epstein, a convicted paedophile. Starmer has to go. Well, that's kind of part of the thing, isn't it? We've all got a bit carried away now about Starmer, myself included. I think we're tending to forget the victims. All those people that Epstein was arranging for people to have sex with. Let's not mess about. That's what Andrew is accused of. I feel a bit sorry for King Charles. He got attacked today, didn't he? Somebody started shouting things. You can't be responsible for your brother, can you? And he's acted pretty quickly, hasn't he? He's booted him out of the house. I don't know. Where are we going next? I've got to stop in a minute. I'm all stuffed up. 41 minutes. We had a few contributions tonight, so that's good. Starmer and his Marxist cohorts just don't care what normal British people think, says Gusty Loyal. I agree with you completely. Staten for next leader of Labour. They won't do any more damage, says UK Video Clips. Mandelson got a loan from the government to buy a luxury London flat way back in the day and forgot to pay it back until it flagged up somewhere in their books. They're all crooks. He didn't get a loan off the Labour Party. It was off Geoffrey Robinson, who was the Paymaster General or something at the time. He was also the MP for Coventry North. And he was also, I don't know if he was chairman, but he was on the board of Coventry City. He lent him the money. And you know the way it works. When you fill out your mortgage form, they say, has anybody helped you out with any cash to buy the house? And he didn't declare it. And that's what he got done for. So that's it. Thank you. Lucy Connolly was detained following a single tweet. Why isn't Mandelswine, I like that, being detained? Has his passport been confiscated? No, he's free to come and go as he wishes. He won't go on trial till probably next Christmas. You watch. It's only common sense for normal people that you wouldn't employ Mandelson. But politics is that vile. They work to differing standards. Perhaps this is because they just view the public as plebs, says Jim Bob 7219 on YouTube. Exactly. I think West Streeton would be the best of a bad bunch. I was looking at him at question time yesterday. He looked angry. Yeah, but he was looking angry because his husband works for Mandelson. So that's absolutely effed up his chances. He won't become the leader now. No way. Lucy Connolly needs to take Starmer to court, says UK Video Clips. Maybe. What have I got next? As supposed far right need to get a uniform. I hear that Teal was in. Thank you very much indeed. Okay. Russell Brown just says no. I like this. Hula Hoop 6360 says Mr. and Mrs. Starmer are the woke-tarded, I can't pronounce it, the leaders of Romania. You know, they swung him from a lamppost. What's his name? It's just gone. I've gone blind. I can't read it. I can't see it. Help me out if you know what I mean. Amount of shaking Starmer doing. He'd be better joining a band. Yeah, or getting a job in a cocktail. I was working as a cocktail. What's that song? I was working in a cocktail bar with a human leg. Has to be David Mastermind Lammy as the next leader. At least as the country nosedives to oblivion, he'll give us a disaster a day to laugh at. Thank you very much indeed. That scumbag, Starmer, didn't accept Lucy Connolly's apology. He jailed her for hurty words. Very good indeed. They will throw Nepo baby Andrew Mountbatten, Windsor, to the wolves, first to deflect from the Mandelson, the Starmer bot scandal. I think that's probably right. Sorry, and I actually mean that. I'm late here. He said, I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. People in power, have you? Yes, that's you, Starmer, even though you were warned about Mandy by our security services. Can't really follow that, Mick Smith. You need to rewrite it. Lo, the lettuce lasted longer than Truss. I can't believe when somebody was, she was brilliant. How anybody can trust Starmer as he's lied all of his adult life. Leanne Teal says, a great song for Starmer. Who Are You? By The Who. Yeah, I like that. Annette Locke says, can I stop in a minute because I'm really tired? He's a classic narcissist. He cannot be wrong. How bloody dare anyone say that? He is God and beyond question. Annette's gone for sarcasm. Enid Patricia's gone for Route 1 football style. He is an excuse for a man. No guts. Love it, baby. Starmer is such a spiteful and vindictive narcissist that he might just call a general election and damn them all. Being ousted by the people would be more digestible than being ousted by your own party. Craig Urquhart says, what worries me is the amount of black Sharpie pens the investigators have just ordered. Yeah. Where did they do that? Where did I see that? Oh, it's when I first went to Dubai. I don't think it's like it now. But years ago, I went to Dubai and they get the papers. They have some of the Western papers, but they mark out the woman's nipples and stuff in the sun. You know they're there. I can't get my head around it really, but well, they're not anymore anyway. But there we are. Mandelson says Lowlander. Thank you. Does anyone think Trump played a hand in this? Yes, and I was saying that yesterday, Simon. I certainly did. If Labour had any decency, they would call an election, says Stan. Thank you, Stan. Starmer skewered in Parliament, but when I was head of the CPS and I got my mate Jimmy off, my accountability wasn't questioned, and I don't expect to be accountable now. Well, I don't think he got Jimmy off. You've got to be careful what you say about that, to be honest. He was the director of public prosecutions, but he says Jimmy Savile, I love this line, never came across his desk. I wonder who's ever come across your desk. Or have you ever come across the desk, Starmer? Sorry. Anyway, I better stop because I'm getting a bit yampy. Everyone, Starmer and the whole of the Liability Party knows it. There isn't anyone within the Labour Party that could run the country, including the job of the Chancellor. She must be quite pleased, mustn't she? Because no one's had a go at her recently, Rachel Thieves, because everybody's too bloody busy slagging off Starmer. But she's got to go as well, I agree with you. Tony Whitworth. All we heard in Parliament was all those victims. Nobody mentions the grooming gang victims. They don't want to know, and they proved it by voting against the National Inquiry. All victims of this evil crime are victims. I agree with you totally, Tony. Thank you very much indeed. Richard Pope says it was Ronnie Hilton, John. I've just Googled it. What's that? What song was I singing? I can't remember even what song it was now. Anyway, it was easier when I had... are you talking about the windmill in Old Amsterdam? Maybe you are. Because Sam Morgan says, clippity clop on the stairs. There, right there. There was a little mouse. I thought it was something like Bernard Cribbins who sang that. That's when we used to have radio for kids. Do you remember? Do you remember Jimmy Clitheroe? Do you remember him? That's about it. LBC needs to go away as well, says UK Video Clips, and never listened to it, so I wouldn't know, mate. 2025, it wasn't the Grinch who stole Christmas, John. It was the power bill, the gas bill, the phone bill, the rent bill, the insurance bill, the car payment bill, and not to mention the price of groceries. Bum, bum. All Starmer's actions. Thank you very much indeed. Plan C. I think this will be I've got loads more, but I've got to stop now, guys. Starmer is arrogant. He has a very and unwarranted opinion of himself. He thinks he is cleverer and morally superior to the little people. He views us with contempt and thinks he always knows better. I agree. David KT says, bring back Diane Abbott. At least we can all have a laugh. Apart from me, who can't breathe when I laugh, but never mind. Richard Pope says, 1964 when I was born. Thank you. Rosseth22 says, sorry doesn't help victims, especially Lucy Connolly, who was in jail for no reason at all. There's a contribution. Essex Steve's just given me a super sticker. Thank you, Essex Steve. A £5. He's put a £5. We've done well tonight in the contributions. Thank you very, very much indeed, Steve. Every single pound and every penny helps. And Den Spink says, I'm singing that in my head tomorrow at work. Lol. Yeah. Does anybody know how it goes? Sitting on the stairs right there. Going clip, clippity, clop, cloppity. Yes. These are the songs of our youth, aren't they? Anyway, I don't know where some of these mad ideas come from. I do apologise. Just like a flight of fancy. Jill Fern says, never will I accept his apology. He's a liar and complicit as Mandelson. Well, I wouldn't necessarily go that far, but what I would say to you, Jill, how can you as a father, and don't forget he's got 2 children, think Mandelson is up to no good. He's still meeting that Epstein because he knew it. He's pretending he didn't know. Of course he knew. As a father, the only thing I'd ever be reaching for would be the baseball bat. I wouldn't let a man in my house who mixes with paedophiles, would you? I know, and this is where he calls himself working class. He ain't working class, because if he was, he'd drag Mandelson around the back of the Parliament and give him a right kicking, wouldn't he? I'm not condoning violence. I'm using it as a metaphor. I find it really odd. Jackie Ward, 3 red hearts. You know what that means, everyone? I'm going to stop any minute now. Sam Morgan says, with little clogs on. With clogs on. Stan, what was the story of that song? Why were they in a windmill in old Amsterdam? Have they all had a bit too much of the old wacky backy? I don't know. Did you like it when there were songs for kids? Do you remember when there were songs for kids? Now it's all the same. It was Sunday afternoons, wasn't it, Jimmy Clitheroe? Unbelievable. And then, of course, the Crankies, Jeanette and Ian from Coventry, ripped off the act, didn't they? And then they got themselves into trouble because didn't they become swingers? Can you imagine that? You go to a swingers party, you chuck your keys in. Evidently, I'm only reporting. I don't know. You chuck the keys in the ashtray, and then you pick up a set of keys. You open the door, and it's wee Jimmy Cranky, or worse, Ian with that horrible perm, and then you got to get it on. It'd put you off swinging, wouldn't it? It would make you monogamous overnight. No disrespect to either of them. Pam Millett, you're encouraging me now. She says, a little mouse with clogs on, going clippity, clip, cloppity on the stairs. Yes, that's right. He had clogs. Why did he have clogs? Because he was Dutch, I suppose. Oh, yeah. Now, you lot, are you not Googling this, are you, and cheating? Jackie Ward, you better not be, because she's just written this. I saw a mouse. Where? There on the stairs. Where on the stair? Right there. A little mouse with clogs on, going clip, clippity, clip, clippity on the stairs. If I learned to sing, I'd have almost an act, wouldn't I? UK video clip says, dude, Jen Cranky swinging is just too much, mate. Yeah, I'm sorry if you haven't had your tea. But it's true. They got exposed by the news of the screws. They're quite proud of it now. Richard Pope says, I met this crankies on a cruise round Norway. They were the resident act. That's a great story. You met them. Well, I've now got to ask the obvious question, Richard. Did you? Did you? Sam Morgan says, a mouse lived in an old mill in Old Amsterdam. Somebody else says, John, you are X Factor material. Thank you, my friend. Yes, songs for kids. I used to cry for Puff the Magic. Oh, man alive, Pam. Puff the Magic Dragon lives by the sea. And Puff the Magic Dragon. I can't remember the rest of it. That was a good song. When you were 6 or 7. Puff the Magic Dragon when Jackie Papa never turned up anymore. Don't know what that means, but thank you. Right, that's me done. What's this? Well, not the buffet bit. What buffet bit? What are you on about? No, says Trevor. Right, I'm finishing. Thank you very much indeed for joining in. I'm glad we're still able to have a laugh as Britain crashes and burns and the end of the world is nigh because of Starmer. Obviously, the consensus tonight was that Starmer's apology doesn't count. But we've had a laugh and we're talking about songs. I have to do that again. Oh, hang on. Richard Pope. Do you want some more information on Richard and the Crankies? Hey, back in 2000, it was only a quick... Oh, I thought you were going to say a quickie. Only a quick chat on a shore excursion. Honestly. The Crankies. Claim to fame. I was in a throuple with the Crankies. Here we are then. Coventry, another top act. Terry Hall. Not him in the specials, who sadly passed away and he was a musical genius. Terry Hall and Lenny the Lion. He's from Coventry. So there we are. You're a bit of fresh air. That was all we needed, John. Thank you, says Tony Whitworth. If you liked it that much, make a donation. We need a laugh, says Pamela Millett. Good evening, John. Good evening to you all. I've enjoyed it. Hope you have. I'm off to watch EastEnders. What time is it? 18:57. You must have had nearly an hour there. Great load of likes. Thank you. Keep spreading the word. Somebody said to me, so do you do current affairs? I said, yeah. And then we also do Jimmy Crank. No, but we do. But it's also, you got to have a laugh. You can't just talk about boring politics, can you? Huh? You'd morph into James O'Brien or Emily Maitlis. What I want to know is how they're going to recover. Well, they will recover because it's a big cozy club. All these people who, I don't know. Shut up, John. You don't need to. You don't need to. Thank you very much. If you've enjoyed it and you'd like to contribute a couple of quid, please put a couple of quid in the pot, either by going to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt or by clicking and giving me a super, whatever it's called. Lisa Carvel, you're late on parade. And to think Boris just had a piece of cake. Nice way to finish the show, though. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah. The world has changed. The world has changed. Have a good night. If you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Don't forget to tell them you love them and sing them a song. Sing them a song that's for kids. Not some pap. Tomorrow's Friday. I made a mistake yesterday. I thought today was... I'm out of my box on all these painkillers. But I'll probably do a show tomorrow during the day. Hopefully, first thing in the morning, when it's announced that Starmer has resigned. Keep everything crossed. See you later. If you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Don't forget to tell them you love them. See ya.